Howdy, how you doing? Welcome to Tailgate Talk with Kathy and Carolyn. Come on in and sit for a spell. We gonna talk a little bit about Carbon Creek Farms, but we're mostly gonna talk about Longhorns. They can't help it, so let's do this. Welcome to Tailgate Talk.
Hi, welcome. We're going to start off with our Longhorn quotes. To walk with the Longhorn is to walk with history. The widest horns cast the longest shadows. Longhorns do not rush, they endure.
That's true.
I like it.
I do.
I always like them.
I love the way that it kind of takes itself right into what we're talking about today.
It's just magic.
I know. With the 7 families, the next one we're going to talk about is the Marks family. And it was started by Emil Henry Marks back around 1907 in Harris County. And
down by Houston.
Down by Houston. So they did a lot down in Houston over the years, which is kind of cool. He founded what was called the LH7 Ranch.
Huh? Well, I guess.
And he registered the brand in 1898.
Woo! That's old.
Yes.
That's an old one.
That's old.
So you think the LH was Longhorn? Or was the LH?
He never explained it.
Never explained it.
Mm-mm.
Mystery.
Except the 7 was the number of people in his family.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool. But his Longhorns, well, he was looking around for cattle, and he felt that for the area of the country they lived in, that the Longhorn was the only feasible cattle to have.
Once again.
And that was because they could fend for themselves on the open range. And you were taxed by how many acres you had. With your animals out on the open range, you could have a smaller amount of land, but still have a lot of cattle back then.
Oh.
So
no fences?
No fences. So his cattle roamed the open land and fended for themselves. He didn't have to go out and pull calves or, go feed them hay every night or anything like that. They took care of themselves. And while his neighbors and most of the country went off looking for beef cattle, he stuck with his. He said, no, I'm going to keep on raising my Longhorns. He did take a turn and go and start raising Brahma because they were a breed of cattle that could endure Texas heat. And so he was one of those that brought in the Brahma into the state of Texas. But he kept his Longhorn herd off to the side and kept them contained away from
pure
from the Brahma because he felt like the pure Longhorn traits needed to be saved, because one day their traits were going to be very important. That's what he kept saying. Their ability to survive on their own, to fend for themselves, to eat anything was going to be something that people needed in the future. And so he felt like he needed to keep his Longhorns and he needed to keep the line pure so that those would be available when people said, oh my gosh, we've lost something and we need to go back.
Smart man.
Exactly. And by the 1930s, he had 500 head of cattle.
Whoa!
Cattle. 500.
This is from when to when? So he got the brand in the 1890 something.
Uh-huh.
And then
by the 1930s, he had 500 head.
bunny rabbits.
And his neighbors kept poking fun at his Longhorns, like, why do you keep those around? but he didn't want them to be lost and forgotten. As I said, that survivability quality he felt like needed to be continued somewhere.
Another one of our visionaries in the breed.
Yep. And the Marks cattle were known for their V-shaped horns. Different. They had very twisty horns.
Oh, so maybe like the ones that twist and go up at a V, like
or up and out, like the Texas twist, maybe. I don't know. And they were very rich colors of red and dun and brindle, and his cattle were very calm. And
we must have a lot of that in our herd.
I don't know. And they're, and that's cattle that don't see humans that often, and yet they were calm. He liked his cattle to be tall, to be long-bodied, to have good legs that could travel, and raise a good calf on their own.
Nice.
So that was nice. And he was raising cattle in Texas all the way up until 1969 when he passed away.
Wow. He led a long life.
Yes, and he had kept that Longhorn herd pure, keeping his cattle, the Marks cattle, together. And he passed his Longhorns on to his children, Maudine and Travis. And when he died, they split the herd in half. And she kept half, and Travis kept half up in Fannin County. And she had hers down in Bandera, I believe is what it said. And they were very active at the Houston Rodeo and making sure that people at the Houston Rodeo were aware of Longhorns and the importance of Longhorns. And so
I bet if we lived down closer to Houston, we might have heard the name more than just being one of the seven families.
Exactly. And I know she died back in what did I see? I think it was 1990s or something like that. So, or close to that. So I don't know. I couldn't find anything on what became of the Marks herd. I do know that she worked with the CTLR people to get their DNA database of what was a true and pure Longhorn established. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I don't know if, how many of the actual Marks cattle, just pure Marks, exist today. I don't know. That would be interesting if anybody knew. To let us know.
Drop us a line.
Drop us a line, because that was very interesting. And I was like, surely somewhere there's still some absolutely pure Marks cattle. I don't know.
I bet there are.
I hope so.
Well, I guess that concludes today's talk. And we'll see you next week on Tailgate Talk. Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Tailgate Talk, brought to you by Carving Creek Farm, Weatherford, Texas.